Most advisors that get into the insurance space are immediately going to sell to their close family, their close friends, their close colleagues. But once you saturate that market, you need to go and figure out how to bring in leads and sell other people at that point. And a lot of advisors think that they need to spend a lot of money on leads or doing ad campaigns to try and bring in referrals and bring in clients, pardon me. However, in today's video, I'm going to show you 3 ways that you can get leads into your business 100% organically and 99% free. What is up, guys? For those of you who don't know me, my name is Philip Setter. I've been in the insurance industry for over a decade now, and I've been able to scale my business to 6 figures and beyond, fully online, 100% non-face-to-face. I've put together a masterclass on showing you exactly how I did this in my business, and if you're interested in that, just comment masterclass below and I will send it to you. But without further ado, let's just get right into this video. Yeah, so like I said at the beginning of this video, once you get into the industry, your immediate sales are going to be like your family, your close friends, your colleagues, the people around you, the people that you know. Maybe you make a Facebook post or something else or whatever it is, you start to get a few sales net. But after that's been expended and you have some referrals maybe from those people as well, at that point it's like, okay, we need to drive leads now into our business. Like, how do I get more traffic and more clients and more warm leads, etc., into my business? So you need to build a system that will consistently feed you leads each and every month that you can convert into clients and make money off of, obviously, so you can survive. And here's the 3 ways that you can organically do that. And I said it's 99% free because, of course, some of these things you may want some help with, like video editing and graphic design and scheduling and a few of those other things. But at the beginning, I mean, you can do it 100% free. You know, there's free services that you can use. There's free editing software that you can use. There's free graphic design software you can use. You can start this mostly free. However, as you scale down the road, you'll probably want to add in some of these services and hire contractors and get better software. But definitely at the beginning, you can start this 100% free without actually spending any money to drive this traffic to whatever it is, your website or landing page that you drive traffic to eventually convert these leads into customers. Starting with the number 1 best way, in my opinion, to drive leads to your website or to convert them into clients: niche content marketing. And so, I mean, I say this all the time in my business. I say this in other videos. I say this all over the place. Every single insurance advisor and financial broker and financial advisor, etc., is making content based on their profession. So what I mean by that is they're making video like, hey, do you know what a RSP is? Do you know RSP versus a TFSA? Do you know what a term versus permanent is? And I'm not saying that there's not value in that type of content. However, everyone is making that. Everybody is making that content. And so when you make content that's related to your profession, and let's just use insurance for this purpose, insurance brokers, you know, term versus permanent, whole life versus UL, RSP versus this. If you make that type of content, you're competing with so many other people on that content, and your clients and your leads and your friends and your customers and all these other people on the internet, they've already seen it. Most likely they've already seen it, you know, a couple hundred times. Not to say that it's not valuable. However, if you start to go into a niche and now you start to produce content for that niche, and I'm gonna explain all of this here in a second, so don't stress. Now all of a sudden you're putting yourself in a position where no other broker is really competing with you, and you're kind of in this blue ocean where all of a sudden there's like so much room for opportunity and there's not really a lot of competition. And so let's just break into what I mean by this. So of course you still need to make content in your business for, you know, term versus permanent and what's better, term 20 or term 30, and you know, whatever it is, you still need to make that content. But once you settle on a niche that you want to target, you can build out custom messaging for that group. And so this could be anything. And what I recommend you do, and what I've done in my business, is pick something that resonates with you. Like, find something in your life that you don't have to go out of your way to create content for and to build this out of. It's not like you're starting something new, like you've never golfed in your life before and you think like, oh wow, I mean, people like golf and they like to buy life insurance, so maybe I should pick that up. That's not gonna make sense, right? Long term, you might, unless you really all of a sudden love golf, or I don't know, maybe you get into it all of a sudden, but you need to pick something in your life that you already love doing. Maybe, you know, you're a car person, you love cars, you know, and you go to car meetups and you have a nice car yourself, a little sports car, you like tinkering on it and building, and you can fully build out, you know, this custom message to people who love cars. You say, hey, listen, you love cars as much as you love your family. You need to protect that, like something like that, you know, like think along those lines. You could build out specific messaging for that demographic. Could be, you know, woodworking. Maybe you're really into like building custom furniture, things like that. Whatever it is, it needs to be something something that resonates with you and that you do yourself. So for me in my business, it was climbing. It was mountain sports. I mean, I rock climb, ice climb, backcountry ski, alpine climb myself, and I'm really engaged in that demographic. And I've built a business for myself advertising and having a specific message to that group. The mountain sports enthusiast group is what I would call them. And so I can easily create content because I'm doing those activities. And so if you create some type of specific messaging for that group, like for example, for me, my website, my life insurance website, it has pictures of climbers on it. It has messaging that's tailored to climbers. It says like, get your life insurance before your next adventure. That's not something that you would say to like, a family market life insurance client that just like lives in New York, for example, in like a big city that, just like never goes to the mountains, right? So you want to like craft your website or your landing page or craft your messaging specific to this group. And then you need to start creating content for this demographic. So for example, I have a YouTube page that I have for climbing and I make climbing YouTube videos. And that's relatively easy for me. I mean, I just put a GoPro on the top of my head and I go out and I shoot while I'm climbing. I edit those videos and I've built a following up from YouTube and from climbing. And same with Instagram. Instagram is really easy for me because while I'm climbing, I can, snap a few photos. I can take some videos while I'm doing that. And I can post those on Instagram and create a following of people that, enjoy following me and my climbing things. And so how I structure it is I'm building this following in this niche group. And I have, a content schedule where I'm posting YouTube videos and Instagram reels and Instagram posts, et cetera, et cetera. You're building that following and you have the back end website where you have your offering for those people, whatever it is, life insurance for climbers, life insurance for woodworking professionals, life insurance for golfers, whatever it is, whatever niche that you want to settle on that resonates with you. Now you can start to layer in every once in a while something about life insurance. Very few people will just follow a life insurance page like, Philip Setter, the life insurance salesman. Nobody cares about that. Nobody wants to see me post content Monday to Friday about the difference between whole life and universal life. And should you get mortgage insurance or life insurance? And should you buy a CI or a DI? No one cares about that. But what they do care about is something that they're interested in. And if you're interested in that as well, you can connect over that shared interest. So people love climbing. I love climbing. I post climbing content. All of a sudden, they relate to me and my climbing content and they follow me. Now they're getting a connection with me because of our shared hobby. And this is someone that I never would have known before. And now you can start to layer in like once a week, say, hey, by the way, don't forget, you should look at your life insurance before your next adventure. Click here to get a quote. Now they're going to my website, which is branded to them. It has climbing photos and it has messaging specific to a climber, and you're layering that content in. But now here's the thing. This isn't like something that you need to go out of your way to do. If you're already doing it in your daily life, if you're already golfing, if you're already doing woodworking, if you're already paragliding, if you're whatever it is, some type of hobby that you're already doing, some type of, it doesn't even need to be, a hobby, just something that you can do. You're a family person, you have lots of kids and you're posting about, the crazy hectic schedule of someone who has 4 kids and works a full-time job. And now you're connecting with other people who also have a family. You're building your following, connecting with people in a similar demographic. And now you can target them specifically and send them to a web page that's specifically designed with them in mind. Number 2 way to organically drive traffic to your offer, website, landing page, whatever it is partnership. Here's the thing. Partnerships will work a lot better in a niche marketing type of setting. And so what I mean by that is every insurance broker out there is trying to partner with an accountant, a financial planner, a lawyer, a mortgage broker, a realtor, etc. They're all trying to go after those professionals because, hey, well, you bought a house, you need life insurance, you had a kid, you need life insurance. These are like stages in life where life insurance starts to become something that's thought about more and usually purchased at that point. However, every single insurance broker is going after those partners. And I'm not saying that you shouldn't try and go after those partners. Obviously, I still have relationships with lots of mortgage brokers and lots of realtors. However, that relationship is a little bit more difficult to get because those people are constantly being pursued by insurance brokers and, by those professionals trying to sell to their clients. So it just takes a little while longer to try and get those. And you're lucky if you do get them. Usually, if it's an established broker, let's say a mortgage broker, for example, if they're doing a lot of volume and they have a lot of clients, chances are they probably already working with an insurance broker and referring those leads to that individual on some type of referral basis. So where these partnerships can be so powerful when you have some type of niche marketing that you've settled on. Now you can look for organizations in that niche. Does that make sense? So now instead of going to mortgage brokers, let's take woodworking, for example. And I'm trying to think off the cuff here what you do in woodworking. Maybe there's like a local woodworking or a local wood store, and you could talk to them like, hey, maybe I could talk about an accident policy that your, members or hobbyists could look into, just in case they cut off a finger, they can get like hospital benefits and they can get a disability plan if they work in construction. Maybe they can get a disability plan, something like that. Think outside the box and start looking at potential partnerships within your niche that you're trying to target. So for me, for example, again, I'm in that mountain sports market. I've partnered with multiple different mountain groups in Canada, as well as search and rescue groups and nonprofit groups that are in the climbing community for trauma. It was relatively easy for me to build these partnerships. One, because I'm already in this organization and community, so they already know me and trust me. I'm not like just some random guy that's coming off the street like, hey, we should do this life insurance thing. They already know that I work in the industry. They already know me from being in this community because they see me post about climbing and other things. And they've never had anyone approach them before because it's such a niche thing. Everyone is approaching the mortgage brokers. No one is approaching those organizations in a specific niche. So this can be an incredibly, not only powerful way for you to target exactly who you want to target, but also you have a much better chance at garnering these partnerships because so many less financial professionals are targeting them. Which leads me to the number 3 and third way to get clients organically and drive them to your website is in those community groups, whether it's a Facebook group or a LinkedIn group. Here's the thing. This one, you have to be careful with it because if you're in any Facebook group, there's tons of like, don't spam this group, we'll just kick you out and block you if you spam it. And then you see people that'll just like post like, hey, my name's Bob, I'm a financial broker, insurance, I can sell you. And like, no one cares. Nobody is going to respond to that. They might get like one click or something like that, but then it's gone. So the way that I've used these community groups very effectively, and again, we're starting everything from the assumption that we're doing some type of niche marketing. So for me, it was climbing. And again, on Facebook, there's lots of climbing groups that I'm a part of. You need to build a relationship with the people in those groups. You need to go on there and spend some time, answer questions, post on there, see what other people are saying, and start to build some type of reputation on that Facebook group. So for me, I'm always posting about conditions on these different Facebook groups and asking questions and saying things about climbs and answering questions as well. People ask questions in these groups and you want to, do I go left or right at this spot in the mountain, for example? You post all those things. So you start to build a reputation in these groups. You don't immediately go in and just like, hey, my name is Philip, I sell insurance, click here. Do not do that. You'll just either get banned or like no one will take you seriously. But over time, you can start to slowly build out your reputation on there and tell people what you do. And so now in the Facebook groups, I've reached out to the moderators over time and I've said, hey, would you mind if I made a post about life insurance, just talking about this new offering that I have for mountain sports enthusiasts? And because they know me, because they've seen me post and answer questions, etc., and I've made content in the climbing community, they'll say, yeah, that's fine. No problem. You can make a post, it's all good. And then I'll make one post. And then slowly over time, people start to know me as, oh, this is the guy that sells life insurance for mountain sports enthusiasts. And then someone in another group will make a comment or they'll make a thread and ask a question saying, hey, I'm looking to get life insurance, trying to find something that's cheap and affordable. Does anyone have any suggestions? Now, all the members, even though they haven't maybe bought a product from me, they saw that post and they, oh yeah, Philip just made something about that. Or I know Philip does this. And then they'll comment, yeah, this is, Philip does it, etc. He has great products. I'm a client of his. I've had a good experience. Here's his information. And so over time, here's the thing, nothing happens overnight. You're not going to just like, none of the things that I talked about, the partnerships, the organic marketing, the content marketing, none of this happens overnight. You need to slowly build up all of this organic marketing, and it will slowly over time produce results for you. However, one, it's a compounding effect, and two, a lot of it can be evergreen, meaning that it starts slow and builds over time. And especially if you're creating SEO-based content where people are searching for some of these things, maybe specific to that niche that I mentioned, they will slowly build over time and compound later on down the road. It could be like 6 months to a year to maybe 18 months. And then all of a sudden there's a ton ton of traffic coming to your website from like a blog post that you put out or a YouTube video or some post that was on some community group that now is driving so much traffic to your website. So just to wrap this up, the three main ways for you to drive that organic traffic to your offer: one is organic marketing, two is that strategic partnerships, and three are those community groups, whether it's Facebook or LinkedIn or wherever it is. Here's the thing, again, if you pick something that you already enjoy doing, you're not going to be doing anything extra. You don't need to go out and book a day off to, do a photo shoot or create videos or something like that you're not already doing and you're not interested in. If you're already going to car meetups, just take some pictures and videos and document the journey. If you're already doing woodworking, just take some pictures and videos and again, document the journey. If you're already doing something, it's a lot easier for you to just pick up your phone, document a few of the things that you're doing and build an audience that way versus trying to schedule time doing something you normally wouldn't do. And I'm not saying that you can't do that as well, but I'm saying this is a much easier and much more sustainable way for you to build your business. So with all that being said, I hope you enjoyed today's video. If you guys have any questions or comments, as always, just drop them below. And if you guys are enjoying this content, all I ask is that you give it a thumbs up, and I'll see you guys in the next one.